right, welcome back everybody. Thanks for coming back to watch another video and another episode. Hopefully you guys had an awesome weekend and an awesome day. So I got some cages that I have to clean, and I can show you guys how I do that just a little bit, although that's not very exciting, but I will show you guys the snakes as I'm getting them out before I clean the cages and everything else. So a couple snakes did go into shed, so I'm very excited to show you guys what they look like now after they're shedding. And some of them look 1,000 times better than what they did from the last video that you saw them in. So that definitely makes me happy. This girl right here is a ghost het albino. So with the het albino, we're not going to have any of those traits visually. So this is just looks like a basic ghost, and she just shed out, which is awesome. Been waiting for her to shed out for the last week, and I just want to show you guys her because she looks incredible. I know she's a favorite to a lot of you guys, and she's even looking, 10 times better now that she has her new skin on her. So she was super dark, almost no coloring on her for the last week. Although she still looks good, they look way, way, way better when they're finally shed out. So I know I said this before, but I think a lot of people sleep on the ghosts. They're not vibrant. They're not super bright. They don't have crazy patterns. They're not all dark. And I know a lot of people are turning their attention to all these wild morphs, which I like them. Nothing wrong with them. But the ghosts they're simple, but they're not. And on her, we can see that she has awesome grays on her, super bright grays, very light, but her colors now that she's in shed are very vibrant. We have even more gray on her saddles. We have black speckling all over her. And then we have a nice transition from her sides, turning lighter gray into this nice white on her belly with tons of speckling on her, which I really like. It seems like she gets more and more speckling every time she sheds out. I don't know if she is or not, but to me, it looks like she gets a lot more, which I definitely like that. So she's getting bigger, obviously, but she's still young. I think she's about 3, almost 4, if that's correct. I don't have a tag up there. I do need to put a tag up there because I will forget with all of the snakes that I do have. Even though I don't even have that many, it feels like a full-time job sometimes. But we'll look at her tail if she will let us. This girl right here is probably one of the tamest, even though she's a little crazy. She loves to be held, and she rarely likes to go back, although I've had her out for a little while, so she might eagerly go back now. But see her tail with the black circling around the gray and onto the white? I just really like that pattern right there. And then, she just looks really, really clean for being a boa. I know I've been buying ball pythons a lot, but I can't beat a boa at all. They are insane. The personalities are awesome. The size, the power. You never know what attitude you're going to get with them. Most of the time it's good, but you always have to be careful and cautious because they don't really have that big of a brain, so they might mistake you for food, maybe. Or your hand, or your breath, your warmth of your breath if they're by your face. So I try not to let them get by my face, although sometimes it does happen. So they're always curious on the camera. So her cage doesn't look too bad, but there is some spots there that need to be cleaned out. I'll be cleaning the albino, so we'll get her out next. I'll show you guys her when I clean. Already cleaned out the BCI, which she shed out last week. I know I took a bunch of pictures of her. I don't think I actually did a video about her, but she is getting very, very large, and the Argentine is doing awesome. Much better with the paper over the fronts. I have a couple sheds around here that I'll show you guys, so should be pretty exciting. All right, let me clean this and I'll show you the albino. All right, cages are clean for both of them, and the albino is out. So she is pretty active, surprisingly. Normally she just kind of hangs out and doesn't do very much. So I don't know if this will show up too much on the cameras, but a lot of people ask what these lines are on their snakes, and I really only see them on the albinos, and they're kind of hard. They might be hard to see on the camera, these lines right here. So pretty much when they're just coiled up, you can see the, I don't think you guys can see it, but you can see the scales kind of pointed away from the body. And basically when they get coiled, they just bend the scales and stuff like that. A lot of people say it's from obesity, which I really don't think it is, because I don't think she's fat at all. She's got a ton of muscle on her. You can see the muscle lines on her. But I think when they just coil up and they just sit for long periods of time, the coils just stay in that area, and then they just bend a little bit. But they do go back to normal if she stretches out or if she sheds. So it's not a permanent thing. And I've seen people wondering what that is. So that's just what I think it is, from what I've noticed. But you know, I think she looks pretty good to me. So I think her every 2 weeks on medium rats is perfectly fine, and she definitely looks good. And for her being I always forget how old they are. She's 4, but she was born 2016. So yikes. Her tail, if she'll show it, it can look like this. It isn't too far gone from the coloration. It hasn't faded out a lot, so I'm really happy from the breeder. I have to get the breeder's name since it's been so long, but really pleased on the quality of work that they did with her. And because I've seen a lot of albinos that are at least 2 years old, and almost all the coloring is completely gone on the tail, and even on the top here, like you can see on her, she still has some orange on her, and then we can see the whites on the bottom of the peaks there. But you know, most albinos, she's losing a lot in here though, and I don't know if she's going to lose a lot up by her neck or her tail. I really hope she doesn't, because I love the look of the yellow and the oranges and the whites. Very nice whites on her. I think she'd be a good breeder snake, but I'm always afraid of losing a snake to breeding. But definitely like having her. So we can see the whites pretty well on her, and then there's one of the lines right there. I'm sure you guys saw that pretty well though. It's hard to see because these GoPros don't have a front camera. Well, I guess the new one does, but I don't have the new one. So it's hard to see like exactly where I'm positioning the camera and what is actually being seen. So we'll put her back. She has a nice clean cage, and her hide is right there. I was using it for a box for the camera, but we see a lot of pink on her belly. So super exciting. I like that. Whoa. Hopefully she'll go back pretty easily. There we go. And I still think even at her size, these 4-foot cages are doing really well for her. Still has a lot of room, so you can fully stretch out. She can coil up where she wants to, and she fits perfectly in this little cat litter box right here. So that is it on the sheds on the boas. Let's see where one of the king snakes shed out, and I don't know which one it was. I think it's up here. Yep, this is it. So this is the female, and she didn't eat last week because I think she was in blue, which is kind of shocking because most of the time king snakes are brutal on eating. They're pretty much garbage disposals. So we'll see where she is. Bring the light over here. They're so tiny, sometimes I don't see them at first, and I get a little worried that they've escaped or they went through these little holes, which I'm not sure if they could, but I really like these totes for these small snakes because it has this seal right here, so they can't jimmy their way out or squeeze their way out of here, which is awesome. Well, mine haven't. I'm not gonna say that 100%. So this is her shed. Hopefully we can get them both to eat later. And here she is. She's so tiny compared to holding the boas, even the ball pythons. So here she is. even though the male looks dead on like her. I love how she's just a jet black, no colorations, black eyes, black tongue, everything jet black. So, and on a 5-day feeding schedule, hopefully they can grow up quickly and healthy. I don't want to be pounding them with too much food and get them fat too quickly. There's a little bit of iridescence. I'm not sure if that's picking up on the camera, but awesome. I'm not a huge colubrid fan just because of the size of them. I feel like I'm going to lose them or break them or squish them as I hold them. And they constantly think your fingers are food. So luckily she's not trying to bite me or anything. Maybe we have bonded already. So very, very, very pretty. I've always wanted the black Mexican Kings. Ever since I got into snakes, I've wanted them. I've just put it off, and then I got an awesome deal at the reptile show. And of course, when there's deals, you can't say no. All right, so this is the one that I'm very excited to show you guys. And for the past couple of weeks, she has been looking ugly. So she shed out and she pooped, which is gross, but we got to clean that out. So here's her shed. Perfect. So you guys may have remembered that she had a ton of weird markings all over her from her previous shed with me. For whatever reason, she did not shed out well at all. So it was a lot of stuck shed and I couldn't get it off. And I just waited until until this shed happened. So as we can see, she is perfect again. Pure white on the body, pure white. There's one dot right there. I don't remember if she's had that, but she could have. Sometimes these pieds, as they grow up and as they shed, will have random speckling form, which is awesome. So very, very excited to have her. This is the second female pied. My other one is the black pastel. And then I have the male, a normal male. So interesting things should happen with all of these pieds. But I just want to show you guys, she is all cleared up. Perfect. And I have to clean her cage, which I can do probably not. I'll probably have to get the sprayer out because that is hot and steamy and she's trying to get away. So whoa, she's trying to coil up on the bowl, which is not going to work. There we go. And there's her umbilical cord marking. If we can, oh, she's not going to show it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is, right there. Right there. And that stays with them their entire life. So I'll clean her out, cut the camera off, and clean hers. Then I got a couple other stuff that I got to clean out. And that is it on the snakes. I guess we could look at one more. Who do we want to look at? Ooh, that's a bad one. So I'm noticing that the ball pythons are dirtier than boas. And it's gross. I thought boa poop was nasty, but man, these things can leave some steamers in there. And she's looking good. She's definitely getting let's get her in the light. Really purple, a lot of purple, and she's actually starting to form a nice line down her spine. Looks a little yellowy, maybe. It does look yellow. The yellow and that purple right there, I don't think it's coming in on the camera, but she is going to look awesome when she gets older and her colors start to come in. Maybe she'll have some patterns come in. Not 100% sure. We'll just have to wait. I like the bands on her face. It's pretty awesome. So I got a lot of cleaning to do. All the ball pythons since they ate last Thursday have all pooped out. And feeding will happen once again this week. And that's it, guys. make it super fast, super quick. Hopefully you guys have an awesome night. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know you guys love seeing the boas, so I try to get them in almost every video because I love the boas way more than ball pythons. Even though the ball pythons are cool, don't get me wrong on that. But there's Suriname. And we'll just look at Pop-Tart real quick. There she is. Got to clean her water out too. And that's a chore. I got to find some way to empty out 15 gallons of water without scooping it. I do have a siphon little pump for like a fish tank, which you hook up to your hose, which I can run out this window right here, but it doesn't work very well. I think it's because of the angle that I have to get on the siphon. Because I mean, the thing's like over a foot long. I mean, it would work perfectly if you were dunking it into like a big fish tank, but with the lack of depth on that, the angle of the siphon, sometimes the end of it comes up into the air, and then you lose all the pressure, which kind of sucks. But scooping it is my method right now, and that takes a while. I'm in here for at least, and then filling it back up, cleaning it, filling it up. That's at least 20 minutes, but it's worth it when you own an anaconda. And I've been seeing people keeping anacondas in rack systems with little to no water at all. Like just a little cup for water. So I don't know, maybe they don't really need a huge water area, but I like to give it to them. I'm going to give it to them because I feel they should have it, and I think they could benefit from that. And all right, guys, so on that, I'll see you guys on the next video.